how y'all doing? My name is Deborah. Welcome to my channel, and today I'm gonna be telling you the 10 dramas that I am currently watching in this month of February. I don't think I did my 10 things in January, but this will cover it kinda. But I normally have friends ask me, hey Deborah, do you have any drama recommendations for me this month? I'm really bored, I have nothing to watch. So I did decide in the beginning of January that I was gonna start recommending the dramas that I'm watching, like not really recommending because some of them might suck, but basically telling you what dramas I'm watching and leave it up to you to decide if you want to check it out or not. So these are the 10 dramas that I'm currently watching in February. Just so you know, this may not necessarily be limited to like Asian dramas, because I also do watch Turkish TV shows and stuff. It's not going to be American. I can't remember the last time I watched an American TV show. So it's not going to be Western. The most Western like it will ever come is Turkish, okay? And stuff. So maybe there are moments where I might throw like Pakistani dramas in there, because I do watch Pakistani dramas also. But just so you know, it's not gonna have any American TV shows, and it's not just gonna be limited to like Asia and stuff. Turkey isn't in Asia, right? I think it's in the West. Anyways, grab your teacups and come along with me on this journey as we discuss the 10 dramas I'm currently watching. Let's go. Okay, coming at number 1 is Hajimete Koi Wo Yomu. I probably just butchered that, but it's a Japanese drama that I'm currently watching, which has a teacher. Basically, the story is about this teacher who always wanted to get into this university that is very prestigious in Japan. And she studied like no man's business to get into the university, but unfortunately, she did not get into the university. Meanwhile, her cousin, who has always been in love with her without her knowing, actually did get into the university. Now, she doesn't have a good relationship with her mom, because her mom, basically, when she came back home and told her mom that she didn't get into that university, her mom slapped her. And her mom has always wanted her to get into that university. Like that has been her mom's goals and dreams and everything, her aspiration for her daughter. But everything came crashing down when her daughter didn't get it. So they have a really bad relationship. Now, this girl was someone that was one of the brightest in her class, but because all her goals and aspiration was one track minded, in that she only wanted to get into that school and stuff, and she didn't end up getting into that school, she ends up in future becoming a cram school teacher, which basically means she tutors people in like this tutoring center. One day, this dude, this rebellious teen, is brought there by his dad, and she basically the dad is basically condescending towards the son and berating him for not studying. And she basically shuts the dad up by telling the dad that life isn't all about studying. Look at her, she's the greatest example. All she did during high school was study, and she ended up becoming a cram school teacher. So if the boy wants to play, let him play. Life isn't all about studying. And that kind of, before that, there had been situations where she met these students and stuff, and she triggered his fancy. But that was like it for her, because immediately she said that and she told the boy that she doesn't want him to ever become like her. Something snapped in his brain and he decided to study. And this is someone that's actually brilliant, that if he puts his mind to it, he can actually succeed and stuff. So he decides to enroll in her cram school and have her train him. And like I said, this is someone that goes to, basically the students goes to this school that's for the worst students in the whole of Japan, that don't do well, that you know they are never gonna make it in life and things like that. And he tells her that he wants to go to that school that every brilliant person goes to, and that she once wanted to go to. I believe it's called Tozu. And she thinks he's insane at first, but then she decides, okay, if you're really serious, I'll try and help you get into it and stuff, not realizing that while she's helping train him into getting into the school, this student was actually falling in love with her. But this girl is so, has high IQ but a low EQ that she doesn't realize when people are in love with her. So she thinks that all the care and respect that he's showing to her is the reverence of a teacher. It doesn't click to her that this students might actually have feelings for her. And then there's a third guy who actually loved her in high school, and he's actually the student's current teacher. But when they were in high school, he was a dullard who really didn't know anything till she took it upon herself when she had a teacher berating him to say that she was going to actually train him to become a better person. And at the end of the day, this dude became a teacher of students and he made something good for his life, but he's in a marriage that is not happy, and he's no longer happy until she reappears. And so she has three love lines. Her cousin, who is a very studious, intelligent person that works in the finance industry, the student who is madly in love with her and who she actually has a connection with, and lastly, this person from her past. So she has her past, her present, and probably her future and stuff as her love lines. And basically we're trying to decide, because there's no clear, except you've read the manga, there's nothing clear about who she ends up with. So you're basically left guessing and trying to decide whose team you're on. Are you on the young student with the pink hairs team? Are you on her cousin who you know has been madly in love with her since they were children? Are you on the team of this teacher who basically made his life better when she trained him to become better and stuff, and has never really been happy in his marriage till she showed up? Like, whose team are you? Are you on team 1, team 2, or team 3? That's what that drama is about. I'll put links down below if you want to check it out. The second drama I'm currently watching is Romance is a Bonus Book, starring Lee Jung-suk from W. You may know him. And Lina Young. Lina Young is Won Bin's. This is a bad way to introduce her, but if you know Won Bin, she's his wife. This is a horrible. I mean, I feel I can see the feminists coming for me already, but she's Won Bin's wife. I've never seen her in anything else. This is my first time actually watching anything from Lina Young. So yeah, but this drama is very fitting for her, and I'll tell you why in a little bit. So Romance is a Bonus Book is basically about Lina Young's character, who was married to this man, and their marriage was filled with turbulence. I mean, on the day they were getting married, she basically ran away from the wedding and he had to convince her to come back. That if that wasn't a sign for you not to get married, I don't know what is. But their marriage was filled with turbulence, and at the end of the day, they got divorced. Now, when they get divorced, her life is in shambles. She's trying to get a job. Her daughter goes to this expensive school in another country. Her husband left her for another woman. Her husband was cheating on her, and she's trying to get a job, and her house is being destroyed. So she doesn't really have a house. She's been thrown out of her house. She has to sneak into the house every night to sleep, and in order to shower, because the electricity has been turned off, water has been turned off and all, she goes to her friend's, her male friend, that's Lee Jung-suk's house. Now Lee Jung-suk is, and I'll come back to where I stopped of house, so just remind me in a little bit, but Lee Jung-suk is her friend from childhood. They've been really close. They became close by her kinda, depending on how you look at it, bullying him into becoming her friend, and they've been friends ever since they were kids. But there was never any romantic feelings for them. At least that's what we thought until now. But like I said, he's the male lead, she's the female lead, so obviously there's gonna be romance. But they've been best friends since they were kids. Now Lee Jung-suk grows up and he becomes this popular author who works in the publishing business as an editor, and he's also an author in his own right, so he has money. But he doesn't know that Lee Na-young, who is his best friend and he sees her like his Nuna, has actually been going through all she's been going through in terms of divorcing her husband, having cheated on her, not having the jobs, not having finances. And so he hires a housekeeper to take care of his house when he's at work, to clean the house, cook for him, etc. And each time he comes home, he realizes that it feels like this housekeeper has been eating his food, has been taking a shower in his house and using his things. But he doesn't realize that the housekeeper that he told Lee Na-young to employ is actually Lee Na-young. She didn't employ anybody. She fired his housekeeper and took over the job to gain some extra cash to have a place to shower and to eat his food. So along the way, he finally realizes that, hold on, there's someone living in my house, and he figures out that, or he stumbles upon the revelation that Lee Na-young has actually been living in his house, because her house finally gets demolished and she moves into his house and is living in his house without him knowing. And one night he catches her red-handed and everything is exposed that she's been living in his house. And so he tells her she can stay in his house. He gets her room made up and he has her confess everything. And that's when he finds out that for years now this has been happening to his Nuna and he doesn't know and stuff. So he feels really bad about it, but he knows that she's this very, very prideful person that doesn't like people knowing when things are going bad for her. So he understands why she did it, but he still feels sad that he didn't know, because he could have helped her. She, like I said, is looking for a job, and so she finds out that Lee Jung-suk's place of work, the publishing office he works at, is actually looking for someone, an intern that has no need for qualifications. Now, mind you, this is someone that graduated from a great university with a great degree and stuff and had a good job in the advertising industry. But because she was so desperate for a job, she lies and says that she actually is a high school dropout. She never went to university, and she applies for the job and gets the job in his company. And so they start working together and make a deal where they have to pretend not to know each other and that they don't live together when they meet. And that's basically a little cake of what Romance is a Bonus book is about, their relationship and how love blossoms between both of them. Definitely check it out. This is one drama that I'm really enjoying, and why I said it fits Lee Na-young is because this, just like Lee Na-young, who has been married for a while now, and it's been a while since we've seen her in a drama, this is her return to drama land and work in terms of dramas and stuff. And there was this period during the whole marketing of the drama, during the press release of the drama, where Lee Jung-suk was doing the hat. They told them to give the reporters a hat, and Lee Na-young had no idea that this meant a hat until Lee Jung-suk told her. So I feel like this drama really relates to her in terms of someone who's married and has been away from the work industry for a while and is returning and learning things afresh. And it really makes you think about how people discriminate against older people who return to work, and how the younger generation tends to sometimes look down on the older generation when they return to work and feel like teaching them things is too stressful and they shouldn't be working, they should be at home taking care of their kids and stuff, which is really unfair. But it definitely gives you a different eye into things from a different generation and a different perspective. So I really like this drama. There's nothing so uniquely awesome like this is the best drama you've ever watched, but it's definitely a nice difference from what we're used to. And so I really appreciate this drama for that, and the calming effect of feeling that it gives with the storyline I actually really like. And like I said, it also gives us a look into how the publishing industry works. And as an author, I find it really interesting just to see like what happens to the books that don't sell, or like when people go to Barnes and Nobles to read a book, what they do to the book and what happens after all those like transitions that go a book goes through before it's produced, and after it's produced, it's just something beautiful to behold. So definitely check out Romance is a Bonus book. You can also check it out on the link that I'm gonna add down below. Number 3 is Carpisma. This is a Turkish drama starring Kıvanç Tatlıtuğ as Kadir and Elsin Sangu as Zeynep and Elsin Alperen Guzmaz as Kerem, and someone else that I can't remember her name right now because I didn't write it down, as Chemri. And basically this story is about how Kadir basically one day is a policeman, cares for people that basically go to prison for the wrong reasons. And one day Kadir loses his wife and his child to a suicide bomber terrorist attack, and after that attack he basically wants to kill himself. He loses all his will to live. This is someone that was the best policeman on his unit, but after that he doesn't want to leave. He tries various ways to commit suicide. Then one day he meets Zeynep. Now Zeynep is this girl who was married to this man that basically was involved with a gang, and he's sent on a mission to go and steal $10 million. And he steals the money, and instead of giving the money to the group of gang members that he's meant to give the money to, he keeps the money for himself, and he tells his wife to run away with him. And his wife refuses to run away with him because they were already having problems in their marriage, and he's not giving her a really good reason for why they should just pack up in the middle of the day or in the middle of the night and just disappear for no reason. And I feel like if he had told her, hey, if we stay here, there are people that are gonna come after our lives, she might have actually followed him because he's a cheating husband. But he doesn't really give her good explanation, so she refuses to go and tells him that instead she wants a divorce from him, and so she stays. Now as she stays, this guy, the gang members that her husband stole money from, come to the house and kidnap her daughter and tell her that since she works in a bank and her husband stole 10 million from them, all she needs to do is steal that 10 million from the bank, and when she steals the 10 million from the bank, they will release her daughter to her. And so she actually goes to steal the 10 million from the bank because she works at a bank. She succeeds in stealing the 10 million, and on the way, running away from the cops, when the cops are chasing her, she gets into an accident. Now when she gets into that accident, she gets out of her car, or actually she's in her car freaking out about how she just got into an accident, but she needs to get this $10 million to this bad guy so she can get her daughter back. And then she looks up and she realizes that the guy who she had the accident with is Kadir, and Kadir is her first love. Kadir is her first love, who they grew up together with in an orphanage. And so she looks at him and she's torn between her daughter and her first love and her actual only love, because she still loves him and she doesn't love her so-called husband that ran away and stuff. So she's torn between saving Kadir or going for her daughter, and then she decides, I'm sorry, my daughter's more important. So she calls this guy for help, and the guy comes to help her, like a passersby comes to help and call the ambulance. And while he's calling the ambulance, she steals the guy's car and runs away. Kadir wakes up, and then Kadir gets up from the car and chases after her. Like, he wakes up from his disorientated state and chases after her. And then when he gets to her, he realizes, wait, it's Zeynep? You were the girl who stole 10 million. Now we're gonna pause there. We're gonna come back to them. Now the second couple, because this is a story of how one accident changed 4 couples or 4 people's lives forever. So I've told you 2 people. Now I'm gonna tell you, I've told you the story of 2 people. Now I'm gonna tell you the story of the other 2. Next is Kerem and Chemri. Now Kerem is this guy who went to prison for attacking his dad and making his dad disabled. The reason why he attacked his dad is because his dad was abusive towards his mom. And so in order to save his mom, one time when his dad wanted to kill his mom, he attacked his dad and his dad became disabled, and so he went to prison. And Kadir had always had a soft spot for him because he understood why he did it and knew that this dude is not really a bad guy. He was just trying to save his mom. So Kadir, when Kerem actually came out of prison, Kadir always told him, be careful, don't hang around bad guys. The people you're hanging around right now, I know these people, they're gonna get you in trouble. Be careful, be careful, be careful. If you need anything, come meet me. Now Kerem is in need of a job. He's trying to make things better for himself, but being someone who just came out of the prison, no one really wants to give him a job, and so he goes to Kadir for a job. Remember I told you how Kadir lost his family and he became suicidal? So when Kerem comes to meet him, Kadir isn't really listening to him or focusing on him and just treats him like air, because all he can see in his head are his wife and kids being blown up. And so Kerem misreads that information and feels like, wow, no one cares about me, not my mother, not my father, not anybody. And so he goes to the bad guy friend of his who recommends that they go rob a house. And so they go to rob the house. Now when they go to rob the house, they see two people having sex. And his friend records the person that's having sex in order to blackmail them, his bad friend, in order to blackmail them for more money later, while Kerem steals the money. So Kerem steals the money and is coming down the steps, and he sees a girl who faces him and is about to like scream, hey, there's a thief, and he's holding a knife in his hand and he stabs the girl. Now I don't think Kerem actually stabbed the girl because what's the word, he wanted to stab this girl or he wanted to hurt her. It was a situation where he was holding the knife as he was going down, and the girl just happened to be there and it entered her body and stuff. So anyways, the girl who he hurts is Chemre, who's a lawyer and happens to be Zainab's divorce lawyer. And so he hurts Chemre and he runs out of the house with his friend, and they're driving, and he decides that he doesn't want to leave that girl there, that he can't kill somebody. He's not a murderer. Yes, he harmed his dad, but then that was a different situation and he didn't really want to kill his dad. But this is a situation that if he actually runs away, this girl who he stabbed might die. So even though his friend is telling him, you're stupid, we can't go back, you just tried to kill someone, not only did he try to kill someone, we robbed your house and you're going back to save her, don't drive back. But Kerem doesn't listen and he turns around and returns to that place, or tries to return to that place where they robbed, to save the girl. And in the process, he gets into an accident with a car belonging to Kadir and Zainab. So now those are the three people in an accident, right? That's before Zainab ran away and Kadir went after her. So now this is three people who have collided. Now Chemre, who is stabbed, tries to scream for help from the two people who they were recording that were having sex. And apparently those two people who were having sex were her fiance and her stepmother, but she doesn't know that two of them were up there. She only thinks that it's her stepmom that's up above in the house on the second floor. And so she's trying to scream for help, but the stepmom put such a loud music as she was having sex with her fiance, and so she doesn't hear Chemre crying for help. And so Chemre realizes that, hey, I can't walk up the steps, the situation I am in now, I'm screaming for help, she won't hear me, so maybe I should drive to a hospital. And so she gets into a car and drives off to the hospital, but she just got stabbed, so obviously she's disorientated, she's almost unconscious, and so she gets into an accident with the same car that Zainab, Kadir and Kerem got into an accident, and it becomes a four collusion of both cars, and that's how their lives intertwine. And you remember how I told you all of them are related and intertwined? And so ever since that day, their life never becomes the same. They realize how related they are and how connected they are, and four of them become friends, and they try to basically not just get back what's her name, Zainab's daughter, but Kadir finds a will to leave again. saved thanks to Zainab, because Zainab convinces him to save her daughter. And if he doesn't want to leave for anybody, leave for my daughter. If you won't leave because of me, leave for my daughter. So he decides, he comes back to his senses and promises her that he's gonna get her daughter back and she won't go to prison. He gets her out of prison while Kerem goes to prison for stabbing Cemre. But then when he reveals to Cemre that her stepmom is having an affair with someone, he doesn't know who it is because he didn't see the person she was having an affair with, so he doesn't realize it's Cemre's fiance. But he says he has a video that he can give Cemre if Cemre gets him out of prison. Cemre decides to get him out of prison, and suddenly they have chemistry and love is blossoming between them. And meanwhile, like I said, Zainab and Cemre are related in that they're friends, and Cemre is Zainab's lawyer. And so these four people become friends who are basically fighting the terrorists and the bad guys, trying to save Zainab's child and also figure out what's going on with what's her name, Cemre's stepmother and Cemre's father's company, and who is Cemre's father really, and who is he working for and stuff, because Cemre comes from a really wealthy family of lawyers. So that's basically the story of Carpisma. I really love this drama right now. This is not like, I feel like many people will go into this drama for the romance, and you don't get much of it for the first leads, like our main leads. But our second lead's romance is everything you could wish for and you could want and you have ever imagined and you have ever wanted, and it's just the best thing ever. The chemistry is awesome. But you're rooting for the first leads, like our female lead and our main lead, Kadir and Zainab, but it takes a while for that love to blossom. So just really be patient. But it's a really good drama. I'll put a link down below for where you can watch it on YouTube. The subtitles are not the best, but you get the whole essence of what they're trying to say and stuff. The grammar isn't the best, but at least it's not so bad that you can't understand what you're saying and stuff. So I'll put links down below for that. The next drama I'm watching, number 4, is I Will Never Let You Go, starring Zhang Bingbing and Ariel Lin. And basically this is a drama about Ariel Lin being this saintess that whoever has her will become the ruler of the world, and so everyone is fighting to have her, while Zhang Bingbing is a prince by day and Robin Hood by night. No kidding. Who she falls in love with before realizing that this Robin Hood might actually be her brother. Hear her brother, people. No, that's not a spoiler. That's made pretty clear from the first episode that these two people are not related. But they think that they're brothers and sisters. Meanwhile, they're in love with each other. And basically, that drama is just how they fight against the opposing forces and their family in order to be together and find out the secret of Bilotien, which is the place that she is supposedly a saintess of, and that whoever goes to Bilotien will get all the jewels and gold and will become the ruler of the world, and she's supposedly the saintess. So they're trying to protect her and protect Bilotien treasures from the bad guys. That's what I Will Never Let You Go is about. I really like this drama. I don't know, it's kind of interesting how Zhang Bingbing has been kind of limited to the same type of roles, yet I never get tired of them. I don't know, maybe it's just because he's so good at acting. That would be nice to see him in something different, but so far I'm not complaining. I definitely like it. I'm enjoying it, and I love him and Ariel Lin together. The next drama is Well-Intended Love, starring Zhu Kai-cheng and Simona Wang. And this is basically a drama about how Simona, our female lead, is diagnosed with cancer and she needs a marrow transplant, and the only person who matches her is our male lead, who refuses to give her the transplant, except they sign a contract to get married. I'm not joking, guys, this is real. They signed a contract. He's the CEO of this big company. It feels like a Wattpad story, I know, and stuff, except they signed a contract to get married for 2 years, and then he's gonna give her the Maro to save her life, and then they fall in love, and that's the story. That's basically the story, guys. I am kidding. This story has the worst subtitles I've ever seen. Like, this is the first time I actually want to sub Chinese dramas. My Chinese understanding is to the extent where I can actually watch this internet modern Chinese dramas without subtitles and understand what you're saying. But when they like start talking about like business stuff and things like that, or it gets really deep in business talks or law talks and things like that, when it gets really complicated, then I don't really understand because I haven't learned to that extent. But I legit badly wanted to help edit the subs and like actually considered starting to sub the drama because of how bad the subtitles were and how addicted I was. So this drama was a guilty pleasure and is a guilty pleasure for me, but I'll put links down below. If you really don't mind the subs and you're looking for a guilty pleasure, this is definitely that drama. If you watch My CEO is a Psycho, or what's that drama, if I remember the name, I'll put the name down below. That kind of feels like Boys Over Flowers, or if you like dramas like those, Boys Over Flowers, you'll definitely like this drama and stuff. But that's that. The next drama coming at number 6 is Never Gone, which is the movie, the drama version of the movie with Chris Wu and Liu Yifei. It starred Elvis Han, Yan Zishan, Vilandi, Hu Jianzhu, and many others. And basically it's about a female lead who is extremely poor and male lead who is extremely rich. They've known each other since childhood, and he has always been stalking her, trying to get her attention. He's been in love with her, but she pushes him away and refuses to reciprocate his love, even if she accepts everyone's love and everyone's help. But she refuses to accept his because of her pride, and also because she feels she's unworthy of him because he's so rich and she's so poor, so they shouldn't be together and stuff. And if this sounds like every single K-drama and C-drama out there with the rich guy, poor girl, and we can't be together because we're from two different worlds, that's because it basically kind of is. But the thing about this drama is the female lead. If you're gonna watch this drama, let me just tell you right now, you're gonna hate the female lead. There is no redeeming quality about our female lead. She sucks. She sucks life out of everything. She is like, our male lead has his issues with his stalker tendencies, and he's not knowing how to stop when they say stop. But our female lead is just a whole different level of I can't deal with you, like sucking of life out of the room and stuff. But somehow this drama, I got so into it yesterday that I stayed awake. Like, I didn't sleep. It was it's been a while since Ever Night I've had a drama that kept me awake, and Story of Minglan, which I'll come into in a little bit, that had me awake, like literally waiting for the next episode just because I just wanted to see. Like, I'm currently on episode 21 and our female lead and our male lead are not yet together, so I just kept on waiting to see when this girl will finally accept this guy and they will finally start dating, and it feels like it will never come. And so the only redeeming quality of this drama is literally our male lead, our second leads, and everyone else except our female lead. So if you're going to watch this drama, just prepare your hearts that you're probably not gonna like the female lead. I'm just waiting for the character building, because I've watched a drama like that where the female lead was so unbearable, but she redeemed herself so much at the end that it's one of my favorite dramas ever. That drama had 80 episodes. So I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna stay. I'm gonna stay. I want to see how she changes. Hopefully she does change, because that would be a huge letdown if she doesn't change. But if you're willing to take the risk like I am, definitely check it out on Viki. The next drama coming at number 7 is Kardeş, Coklari. It's another Turkish drama which is basically about this girl who lives with her mother and her abusive father, and one day her father was gonna kill her mom. Her father locked her and her mom in this barn in their house, and when he locked them up, he was gonna kill the mom, and the mom ended up harming the dad, like hurting the dad. She didn't kill him, but she injured him, and so she went to prison for it, and the dad then imprisoned the girl on this barn, like underneath the house in the basement, and he locked her up there, like he never let her go out for a whole year, and everyone else in the outside world thought the daughter was missing. Finally, this girl gets released, and someone figures out that she's hiding there and calls the cops on the dad, and so the dad gets arrested. And so the cops decide, okay, the mom is in prison, the dad is also going to prison, now what do we do with this girl? So they go look for her next closest relation, and her next closest relation is her mom's sister. Now rewind, there was this, right from when she was young, this girl always had her mom saying her sister's a snake, her sister's a snake. She left her for she left them and left her to go after money, to chase after money. Her sister is a snake, and she always believed that because her sister went after money, her sister died. That was the story the mom told the girl, that her sister is dead. But it turns out that the mom's sister is actually not dead. The mom's sister is this wealthy socialite and stuff. So they go to the girl's sister, the mom's sister, and tell the mom's sister, please take in your niece. And the mom's sister has her own wealthy family that had never heard of her having a sister. And so they're like, what sister are you talking about? Since when do you have a sister? Since when do you have a niece? You mean to tell me your family has been living in abject poverty and you never helped them? You just cut them off? How heartless could you be? And stuff. And so her daughter, her only child, her daughter who has always been without friends, she wants to make friends but no one wants to be her friends, tells the dad, and she has asthma. She tells the dad to bring the niece to the house so they become friends, and she has someone to talk with and chat with, and someone like a sister. And so the dad decides, okay, because of you, I'll bring this girl into our house. So they bring her into the house. And when they bring her into the house, they have a stepson from the dad's side. So the dad had another child that he adopted, and he's the stepson of the aunt, right? The stepson of the aunt has this image where he pretends to be a good guy who studies, he doesn't party, but actually he's a player, he parties, he's the worst of the worst, but no one knows because he lives in a different state. So he comes back home and they send him to go get the girl. And so he goes to get the girl from the clinic, the girl who escaped and the cops took away. He goes to get her from the clinic, and there starts their love story. But hey, there's a secret. The girl might not actually be her mother's daughter. There's a bad secret that we're not sure of yet. She might not be her mother's daughter, but might actually be her auntie's daughter. And the reason why I say this is because her father is Terrell. Her so-called father is Terrell. So there's a secret of her bet that her dad might be someone else and her mom might actually be someone else, but we're not sure right now. Also, her cousin, the one with asthma, is in love with her stepbrother. So if there's a love relationship or if there's a love line between this girl who she brought into the home and her stepbrother, she's gonna be really mad, and so she's gonna become the evil second female lead because she'll feel like this girl from nowhere is taking away the guy that she has always loved and wanted to marry. So basically that's the story of that drama. But it's another drama that I really like. It has some of my favorite people. If you watch Fazilet, her name Kislari, the second sister in Fazilet is actually the female lead in this drama. And if you watched the Turkish version of Secret with Jisung and Hwang Jung-eum, the Turkish version, then the male lead in the Turkish version is actually our male lead in this drama. So definitely check that out. It's a really nice drama, but only one episode is subbed, and the subs are not the best either. Turkish dramas are kind of hard to get good subs for, but I'm definitely enjoying this drama right now. Next is The Legend of Haolan, which is kind of based on history. And if you've watched The King's Woman, then you remember Zhang Bingbing's mom in The King's Woman. Well, it's based on her history. So this drama is starring Nie Yuan, Wu Jinyuan, and Wu Jinyan and Mao Zijun. And if those names sound familiar, especially Nie Yuan and Wu Jinyan, is because they were the leads in Story of Yanzi Palace. So this drama basically has almost everybody that was in Story of Yanzi Palace except Zhu Kai again in this drama. And I really love this drama. It's basically a story of how this girl fell from her family, fell from grace in her family, was kicked out of her family. Wu Jinyan, our female lead, was kicked out of her family, and then she was taken in by Nie Yuan, who basically takes her in. They fall in love, but he's trying to sell her to, or give her to, the future king of another kingdom. And it's basically a story of how three of them, their love story and their collaboration goes about as they try to bring down the other empire, puts the other guy as king, because right now Mao Zedong is a prince that has a hostage, a king that's a prince that's a hostage. So he's a hostage prince that Nie Yuan is trying to make king in his own kingdom. He's trying to remove him from the kingdom he's in now, take him back to his kingdom and make him king. And basically this drama is a story of how he succeeds in doing that, and how Wu Jinyan becomes his future queen, and also how Wu Jinyan has a relationship with the prime minister, who is Nie Yuan, that the current businessman that later on becomes the prime minister. Next is I Hear You, starring Riley Wang from Special and Zhao Lusi. Zhao Lusi, you might know her from Oh My Emperor and stuff. And this is another drama that I really like right now. Only 5 episodes have been subbed, and it's basically about another contract relationship between our leads, where they get into this reality show where they're supposed to be dating, and our lead is this guy who doesn't smile, he doesn't show any emotion, he's basically emotionless like most C-drama CEO male leads. He's basically emotionless, while our female lead is trying to get money to go to Japan and study. And basically it's a story of how she breaks his eyes and they fall in love, and it's an idol drama. Basically, that's all you need to know. But I really like it. It's really cute, and Riley Wang is really fine. But the next drama, coming at number 10 that I'm currently watching, is Story of Minglan, starring Feng Xiaofeng and Zhao Ying. I will admit, I was one of the people that wasn't the biggest fan of their relationship, but Story of Minglan has made me their #1 shipper. Like, this drama is so chill and so good. In the beginning, it might not be everyone's taste because of how realistic it is, not just in the palette and in the aesthetics of the drama and in the camera work and all, because there's not too much lightning. The lightning is very limited and stuff. They don't use like artificial, will I say artificial lightning, lighting into electrical, let's put it that way. They don't use electrical lights. They actually use like lamps and stuff, and they don't use too much. It's just enough, and it's not a drama about palaces and things like that. It's basically the story of Minglan, how this girl who was basically the child of a concubine and whose mother was killed by her stepmom, basically grows up pretending to be dumb, and while she's really very smart, and then grows up, gets revenge on the people who killed her mother, and ends up marrying this guy who is Feng Xiaofeng, who basically helps the next king, that the next person that becomes the king of the empire and becomes a huge general that's respected in the town. So she goes from being this girl that's looked down upon to this girl that's highly respected. That's a really bad preview of it, but when I'm done watching it, I'm gonna do a review, so I'm gonna go more in depth into Story of Minglan. But I really love this drama. I love the chemistry between our leads. I love how he fought for her to get her her. I love the mutual respect between them. I love, like I said, the cinematography. I love how calming and different it is, that it's not a palace drama, yet it could keep me interested and it could keep us interested, and it shows that you don't, all historical dramas don't have to be about a king and a queen and a prince. I mean, I love those, but it doesn't have to be that for it to work. And so I really like story of Minglan, especially the story about how she came from nothing to something, and basically one of the most revered women in the whole kingdom. But yeah, those are the 10 dramas that I'm currently watching. Story of Minglan, you can check out on Viki. I'll put links down below for all the dramas I've listed if you want to check them out. Let me know if you've watched any of the dramas I'm currently watching and what you think, or if you check them out, come back and let me know what you think. Don't forget to give this video a like, don't forget to share, subscribe, and keep being awesome, beautiful people you are. I will see you again in March when I tell you the dramas I'm watching then. Take care.